guys, welcome to Amisha Design. I'm Rihanna Gomez, and in today's video I'm going to share with you guys method 2 in creating a shorts out of the pattern that we created. So I got a piece of black in the fabric, and as you can see it's extremely see-through once light hits it, but I'm not going to worry because I do plan to use some scrap fabric to make it wearable. Now, as you can also see, the fabric is not that wide. This is only about 35 inches wide. So because it's not that wide, I got 3 yards in the material to ensure that I'm able to get a shorts and a matching top out of it. Now, for this project, you want to make sure you have your piece of fabric. And again, there's actually also a fabric that costs $9 and one that costs about $8.50 or something like that. Now you want to have your fabric, you want to have your fabric scissors, you want to have your pattern pieces, front, back, waistband, you want to have your straight pins, and you also want to get your hands on a zipper that matches the color of your fabric. Now this zipper that I'm going to use is actually 10 inches in length, so that is what I would be using. And in this pattern, this method, that I'll be using, I'm going to be able to give myself seam pockets for your shorts. And do not worry, it is actually very easy to create pockets with your shorts. So let's get into it. Okay, so I'm gonna work with my fabric okay, so I'm folding it on the width to ensure that I have the length needed to create my pants, because if I fold it lengthways, I'm going to come up short and not have enough fabric to get the full length of my pants. So I'm just going to fold it enough, right, that is going to give me the required spacing for the pants. Now, I did not get scrap fabric. The scrap fabrics that I have was not enough, but I did find a couple of bandanas, and they are just right for my pattern to fall onto. So I'm going to use 2 bandanas to get the lining that I need for my pants. So I'm just going to lay now, for this method, I will not be placing the area marked on the folds of the pants. I am actually going to literally cut out the entire shape of this pattern piece. So I'm just going to take a few pins, and I'm just going to pin this in place so that it does not shift when I'm ready to cut. Alright guys, so after cutting out my 4 pieces for the front and my 4 pieces for the back, it's time for me to sort of put my lining together properly with my outer piece and start clipping everything together. Now again, because I need to create a liner for my pants, because the outer fabric is extremely see-through when light hits it, I created some lining pieces out of bandana that I had lying around. So what I need to do is just separate my 4 pieces. Okay, this is my front of the fabric and this is my back. Right, so I'm just going to take one of the lining, just line it up with the outer piece, I'm doing this so when I have to start sewing everything together, I have the lining and everything in place, right? So the right side of my black fabric, I'm facing it on the right side of my other black fabric. I had the lining on the wrong side. There we go. Okay, so once you have placed the right side of one of your back pieces to the right side of the other black back piece, right, you want to just line it up proper. And what you're gonna do is take your pins and just nicely pin along your crotch line. Your curved area is your crotch line. So I'm just gonna use my clips and clip my crotch line together. Okay, so by the time you run a stitch, once you go to your machine and you run a stitch along that crotch area there, when you open it out, right, you should have this. And this little slit you're seeing here, this is actually going to be your crotch area. All right, when I am running my stitch along the crotch line, I am not going to do a back stitch, right? I'm not going to do a back stitch at the top of the pants here, because remember, this is my waist area here. I am not going to do a back stitch. I'm just going to start my stitch and go all the way down to the edge where the curve ends, and this is the only area I'm going to do a back stitch. I'm not doing a back stitch here because I want to place my zipper to the back of my pants. And once I run my stitch with that 1 inch seam allowance, when it is time for me to attach the zipper, it's going to be very easy for me. I'm going to show you the method that I always use when I'm attaching my zippers. Okay, so I just came back from my machine. Here's my back piece. Okay, here's my stitch. So I'm stitched up together, and again, I did not back stitch at the top of my back piece here. So I'm just gonna open this out for you so you can see. I'm gonna leave it on the wrong side because it might be easier for you to identify and see the pants is actually forming. And this is my back piece, right? I marked it off on one of my inners. And this is my front piece. Now my zipper is not gonna go to the front, so I back stitched at the top. Now my next step would be to turn my back piece right side facing up, and then take my front piece and place it right side facing the right side of the back piece, right? And what I'm gonna do is attach the pants from by the crotch. So you see the crotch right here, right, where it's joined. You want to line up the back and the front crotch area. Take your pin, or if you're like me and have your clips, clip that into place. Line it up and clip it into place. So what you're gonna do is go to your machine and you're just gonna run a stitch along this area here only. All right, remember, give yourself 1 inch seam allowance, which you should already have that allowance in place to create your stitch. So just go ahead, run that stitch. We're gonna come back and we're gonna work on creating our pockets for our pants. All right, So I connected my pants at the crotch. There it is, all nice and connected. So our next step would be to connect the pants along the side seams. But remember, I said I would be doing pockets. So I want to share with you guys how to create your pockets on your pants. So I'm just to make sure that I have everything lined up properly, I am just going to place a few clips right here. If you're hearing any noise in the background, that is the grass being cut. So excuse the little noise in the background. So I'm going to speak a little louder, right? Okay, so I'm just clipping my corners together. Okay, so we're back again, and now we're going to work on sewing the sides of our pants. But before we actually get into sewing the sides of the pants, we want to make sure we have our area for our pockets in order. Now, when it comes to the pockets, what I do, we are creating the inseam pockets, right? It's where you have to tuck in, meet the pockets. So what I do is I go down 6 inches from my waist area. So I take my ruler, place it at the top of the waistband right there, and I mark off 6 inches. After marking that 6 inches, I take my ruler, I identify the 3-inch mark on my ruler, and then I place that 3-inch mark right on the 6-inch mark that I created. Once I've done that, I simply mark where the ruler is at the tip, and then I mark where the 6-inch mark is at the tip. From here to here is my pocket area. Okay, so again, both sides, and I have that 6-inch mark on the front aspect of my pants on both sides. So I'm just going to put this aside, and now I'm going to work on creating my pocket pouch. Now I'm going to use this scrap piece of fabric that I had in my scrap container, and before I actually draw out the hand area, I need to make sure, there we go, I need to make sure that the entrance of that pocket bag I'm going to make is 6 inches wide. So I'm just going to take my ruler, and I am just going to draw a line that is 6 inches in length. Right? So there it is. Now you want to make sure and fold your fabric, because each pocket bag you need 2 pieces, okay? So just make sure, I'm sorry I forgot to just mention that to you guys there. Right, so once you have your piece of scrap fabric, whatever you're using to create your pocket sack, if you happen to have extra fabric from the material you purchased, then go ahead and use that. And then you simply fold it in half. Now, to me, quite honestly, my pocket sack is going to be hidden, so it's not going to matter to me if it is right side out or inside out. That's not going to matter, because my pocket sack is going to be hiding in my pants anyway. So again, before you start, you want to draw your 6-inch line, because that is how wide your pocket entrance is on your pants. Once you draw that 6-inch line, you want to take your hand. I like to open out, fan out my fingers like this, and I'm just going to draw, starting from that 6-inch point that I created there, and I am just going to draw and go all the way around my hand and come back to the other end. So this is one right here. Alright, so let's attach our pocket sacks. Let's get ready to attach the pocket sacks and take it to the machine. Now, for the pocket sacks, what you want to do, just going to move this pin here because I'm going to have to access the right side of the pants. Now, even on my right side, I'm able to see my marks where the pocket sack is going. Now, again, as I said, for me, it doesn't matter if is the right side, is the wrong side. For me, as I said, because the pocket sack is inside my pants. Now for the pocket sack, you need to attach it to your pants. So just take your sack and place it. You see how it lines up with my 6-inch points? That's what you want. So just line up those points. I'm going to take my clips and I'm just going to clip this in place. Use 3 clips. I'm quickly just going to clip this in place. Right? So when you run this stitch here, it's nice and flush on that side. You want to take your other pocket sack, right side of your pocket sack, facing right side of your pants again. Make sure that you are able to see your marks on the right side of your pants as well. So I'm just lining it up. Again, it fits nice and flush. Taking my clips and clipping that in place for when I go to the machine. Once I run that stitch, it's in order. So I'm just going to attach the other pocket pouch on the other side. And again, alright, so we have attached our pocket sacks. I don't want to say straps. Oh, I forgot to flat stitch this side. I mean, what I did. Anyway, so after attaching my pocket sacks, I just did a flat stitch as I showed you guys to keep the pocket laying nice and flat, hence the flat stitch. Get it? Anyway, so our pockets are attached and now it's time to close off the sides of the pants. Now for this part, what you want to do is, again, remember I was saying to you, even though the sides don't line up, as in the back is wider than the front part, remember as I told you, remember the back is catering for your bum. So it is going to be wider at the back. What you need to do is make sure your front side is lined up. Pull it to meet the back seam. The back seam, the back side of the pants. You need to make sure that they are lined up. So you're going to pull that into place and then pin. When you reach the pockets, right, so I'm just going to go one more clip right here. Right, now when you reach the pocket, you're not going to go here because you're going to end up sealing your pocket opening shut. So what you want to do, I am going to take a straight pin and I am going to pin my 2 pocket pieces together because I need it to stay in place. So this is how your stitch is going to run. You're going to start at the bottom of your pants. So let me come this way. So you're going to start at the bottom of your pants, right? And you're going to make sure and go in your 1 inch when you're running your stitch. Again, remember your pattern had your 1 inch seam allowance catered already. So when you're running your 1 inch seam allowance, when you reach the pocket area, you're going to go and close your pocket sack shut. And when you reach back here, you're going to go and continue your stitch all the way up to the end of your pants. So again, it's gonna go, that's my machine. And when you reach the pocket sack, you're going to follow the pocket sack shape all the way around until you come out to the other side, right where your pocket sack attachment is, and then continue going upward, and you have sealed, the side of your pants. I'm just gonna put some clips around the pocket sack so again it's how you
Okay, so here are my 2 pieces for my waistband. I'm simply going to open them out, put them together, line them up, and run a stitch along this area here to attach my waistband. Then I'm going to just hem the edge of the top of my waistband.
Alright, so I'm back with my full length waistband. Right. I attached it where I said I would, created a flat stitch so it will be nice and flush. And I also just took my time and folded in the raw edge that will be at the top. So this will be the top of my waistband, and this is the area where I'll be attaching to the pants. So remember earlier when we were putting the pants together from the crotch seam, I indicated that I wanted my zipper to be at the back, and I made sure that I did not double stitch the top area here. That is because when I am attaching the zipper, I want to attach my zipper right between this seam line here. So when we reach the zipper, we'll get there. But for now, let's attach the waistband. Now, make sure that your pants is folded right side out. And I'm going to make sure that the ends of my waistband comes around to the back where my zipper is going to be attached. Now, because I connected my 2 waistband pieces, I actually have my midpoint area. So what you want to do, right side of your waistband facing the right side of your pants waist area, you are just going to place those 2 points on each other and pin it in place. So I'm just going to clip mine there. Right. And what you want to do is just go, just going to clip off this extra. Okay. And what you're going to do is just go all the way around, pinning your waistband on to your pants waist. Now you don't want to, you're gonna have to stop, all right, right where your seam line for the back area, or again, if you're putting your zipper to the front table, wherever, you do not want to stitch the waistband all the way to the end. You need to leave that opening where it meets the seam area free. So what I'm going to do is go to my sewing machine and attach my waistband onto the pants, and then I'm going to come back, and our next step will be attaching the zipper.
Alright, so after I connected my waistband to my pants, it was time for me to close off the waistband, and to ensure that I had the same seam line running from my back crotch area all the way up to the waistband, I lined up and marked off, and then I closed off my waistband to ensure that I had that 1 inch seam allowance in it as well. The reason for this was to ensure that I had the space needed to place my zipper. So what you want to do is just press open that seam area and ensure that you're taking the zipper teeth and lining it up right between on that crotch line, because when we're ready to seam rip, you want to make sure that the zipper is being exposed. So go ahead to your sewing machine, use your zipper foot for this part, and stitch your zipper into place.
Okay, so the zipper is attached. Now let me show you why I said do not double stitch the area. I don't know where white comes from because I don't have any white thread, so that's probably in the thing. Alright, so you want to get yourself the seam, your seam ripper. And what we are going to do is seam rip open. And because we did not double stitch, it's going to be easy for us to seam rip open. Look at that. And it exposes the zipper. Now, I didn't get to fully attach the zipper all the way up because I don't have a zipper foot. So that's why this is like this. So I have additional work to just go now and attach this area. Simple. So I am just going to seam rip open this whole back area where my zipper is. So let me go do that, and I'm going to come back and show you everything you need to see. Alright, so I took my time and I seam ripped open that back seam. So now my zipper can open and close. And that's how I attach my zipper. It's the importance of not doing that back stitch, so you have that easy access with your seam ripper to go in and open out that back seam, or if you're putting your zipper to the front, your front seam. Now that I have my zipper attached, the next thing I want to do is actually tackle, because you know I love creating my shorts with contrasting folds at the bottom of the pants. So I'm actually going to take my time and just fold and create some nice neat folds for my shorts. I'm just going to take my clip this in place. I don't want to lose it. Don't want the contrasting folds, what you can do